Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're gonna make chocolate macaroons. This is the recipe and I hope that you follow it, you won't go wrong. Now, cooking is an art but baking is chemistry, so you need to follow the recipe. Alright, before we begin, the basic ingredients are all the ingredients you can get from Phoon Huat, and I spent $30 today getting all the ingredients from Phoon Huat. Now, basically what you need to buy, actually you can bake for 3 batches of macaroons using this amount, around 2 to 3 batches. I think 2 batches will be safe. Almond flour, get the 1 kg one, get the extra fine ground almonds. Dark chocolate couvertures, get 55%, that will be good, or 60% the most, but 70% above it will be a bit bitter. For icing sugar, you can get the 1 kg one, icing sugar. Alright, so and the other items you need in your baking process, you need this multi-bake baking paper, cooking paper, non-stick. It's good to get this brand in particular because other brands, like the one, some baking paper, your macarons won't be able to rise properly. So this is the highly recommended one. The other stuff you need are piping bags. You can get these 10 pieces for $1 something at Phoon Huat as well. Alright, weighing scale to make sure that you weigh out the correct amounts of chocolate. And basically that's it, and we are good to go. The recipe for chocolate macaroons. You need 3.5 cups of almond powder, 2 1/3 cups of powdered sugar or icing sugar. Everything goes into the blender. You blend them and grind them so that you get a very firm and even consistency, and they're all like powder like that, so it'll be very nice after that. And separately you need 4.25 ounces of dark chocolate. I've already measured them out using my weighing scale. You can get an electronic one, will be good. And separately for the what do you call that, the chocolate ganache, which is the cream chocolate layer in between the 2 macaron cookies, you will need 340 grams of dark chocolate. Why I use 340 grams? Because I'm using the Nestle cream and each one is 170 grams. I'm using 2 cans, so that makes 340 grams. And the ganache recipe is 1/2 part cream and 1/2 part chocolate. So you gotta heat this up, and then you're gonna combine them. I'll show you how to do it later. That's for the ganache. Now back to the basic macaroon batter. That's basically it. Just now I showed you, you have your icing sugar and almond powder. You have your 1/2 cup of egg whites over here and another 1/2 cup of egg whites over here. One will go into here after you blend them, and you're gonna mix them up and you're gonna melt this chocolate and pour inside to make the basic macaroon batter. And the other one, you will form a meringue. Alright, the other ingredient you will need is actually, for the meringue also, 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm gonna blend all my ground almonds and icing sugar. It can get a bit violent because I want to make sure that everything is well incorporated and blended together. So some people actually do this like this. They do the on-off way, but I don't see the need to. I just shake it a bit. Yeah, don't bring the house down. Just shake it a bit. And you look and you get a very nice consistency over here, very fine, extra fine, and then our macarons will look nice. Okay, so for the next step, after we have blended our mixture of the almonds and the icing sugar, what will we do? We put them all in a bowl. Make sure the fan is not blowing, if not everything will blow away. So everything goes into the big mixing bowl. Make sure it's clean. This will form your macaron batter. Shake it a bit. Yeah, everything's out. Get your blender. So what you do next, you pour in 1/2 cup of egg whites. Okay, so what you need to do now is, you see this egg white is like poured into the powdered sugar and ground almonds. You got to mix them up. There's this technique that they call smearing, so you just like press it against each other and try to form a paste that everything is like combined very evenly well with the ingredients. Just keep stirring, turning, and smearing. That's the way to do it, where you just press it down to get this even consistency. Alright, we're getting there shortly. Are we there yet? Yes, we are soon. Okay, very nice. Now you see you can have this, you have this very nice paste and there's no powder like lingering around and everything is like firm and evenly combined. That's what you want to see. Alright, this is what you want. Okay, the next step will be to melt your chocolate. You can either do it in the microwave, but I like to do it in the bain-marie in case the microwave burns my chocolate. But if you do it on the microwave, just make sure it's on low or medium low. Alright, so that's your paste. Okay, so what you see over here is my KitchenAid, is my cake mixer. You can use a handheld whisk, which I used to use, but it's going to be quite tiring. I borrowed this from my aunts. It's very good. It's very helpful as well. So I have half cup of egg whites inside, and my sugar mixture is being boiled. I need it to reach a certain temperature until it bubbles, but I don't want it to turn into caramel. So I'll show you when to off the fire and take it off the heat. My double boiler or bain-marie is on standby as well for the chocolate. I prefer to make the meringue first because I find that I don't want the chocolate to harden in the batter too long. So here we go. The first step is to, of course, whisk your egg whites. Oh no, this is not working. Okay. I should just put it here and show you how it's done. Okay, the first step is to, of course, whisk your egg whites until you see medium peaks, soft peaks. Alright, the ultimate goal is to get stiff peaks. So we'll show you the different peaks in a while. Okay, so just turn it on a bit, maybe speed 4 or even speed 6. Just work it a bit until all the bubbles start to form and you see medium peaks or soft peaks. The sugar syrup is boiling. Remember, no caramel, but just a very hot boiling sugar syrup. This is called the Italian meringue. There are two kinds of meringue, the French meringue and the Italian meringue. We are going to use the Italian meringue because I find that you can monitor this method easier. Okay, now you see you start to form a lot of bubbles in your bowl. And then turn it up a little bit even. Okay, we are getting there. Alright, when you see a lot of bubbles start to form in the bowl, you start to slow down the speed and you check and you start to just off it and you test it that time. When you test it, you can see you have this pointed thing in the middle. Yes, you can see that pointed thing. That's called a soft peak. Alright. Now, how are we going to get the stiff peak? We are going to incorporate sugar into the meringue, and this is done by the sugar syrup, which you can see is boiling over here. Yep, that's my sugar syrup. Alright, we need it to boil even more, and we need all the sugar to be dissolved. Alright. Okay, my sugar syrup is boiling. Okay, when I see it boiling with this amount of bubbles, I begin to take it off the heat because I don't want to turn it to caramel. Alright, I just take it off the heat like that at the side. Okay, just move it around until it stops bubbling so much. Settle down a bit. And what you're going to do, you're going to drip it into the meringue, into the egg whites. So like this. I'll drip from this side, then you can see. You slowly just drip it in. one straight line. You can't rush this process because it's a chemical reaction. Stop stealing chocolate. And it is until you get stiff peaks. Now this is a very important and in fact the most crucial step in making of macaroons, because you really need to whisk it really long and really well until you get stiff peaks. Alright? I continue to add my sugar syrup in. Until everything is well incorporated. Okay, don't worry if there's like a little bit of clumps of sugar on it, it's alright. Okay. So now you let it continue to whisk until the bowl turns cold. Not really cold, but the bowl is no longer so hot. So that's why I prefer to use the Italian meringue, because you can monitor how long you take to do this. So as long as the bowl is not so hot like right now the way it is, you can off it. And when you look at the meringue, you must have stiff peaks. And later we'll show how stiff peaks look like. Alright. Okay, so this is the midway of the meringue. You can see that it's starting to come together. The best way to of course check whether meringue is done is to put it over a head and it doesn't fall off the bowl. That means it's done, but I really need this to have stiff peaks. Alright, so let it continue with. The bowl is still quite warm, so will be like 5-10 minutes more. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. So now I'm here melting my what do you call that, chocolate for the macaron batter. That's 4.3 or 4.25 ounces of dark chocolate being melted on the double boiler over here. It's about to be all completely melted, and after it's all fully melted, I'm going to incorporate it into the macaron batter, my big bowl. Alright, now you see as I continue stirring, it's like fully melted. You can off the fire, take it away from the heat, and using some cloth, don't burn yourself, careful. You lift it off from the bowl. It's going to have a lot of hot steam so coming out, so don't burn yourself. And what you do is you incorporate it into the big bowl. Alright, so you have your initial batter over here. Now I'm going to pour my chocolate in, like that. This is 4.3 ounces of dark chocolate. Then you got to mix now, not after a while, because the chocolate will harden as it cools. So continue mixing this until you get an even consistency. Carry on with your smearing technique. So just keep smearing the mixture and make sure that you don't see white strips or brown strips here and there, but it has an even consistency. Okay, what I like to do is to actually sit down and mix it on my lap, but because it's inconvenient for the camera to capture, I shall do it like that. Yeah, continue to smear the thing. Some chocolate stuck here and there, you can push it towards there and you'll also combine. So you don't want to waste any of those good chocolate. Over here, continue to smear. That's the technique, smearing. Keep smearing the bowl. Smear and smear and smear until you combine it until you see a very nice. Okay, very good. Alright, so this is what it's supposed to get, a big lump of brown chocolate macaron batter so far. The last step is of course to combine the meringue, which is the most important actually. That will make or break your macaroons. So your meringue, I'm going to check on my meringue right now. This one I can leave it for a moment. Now you see your meringue is starting to get together, harden. The very good way to check it is to put your hands on the bowl and see how hot the bowl is. You can see, we have been whisking it for quite a while now, probably about 10 to 12 minutes. You can make sure your finger is clean, put your finger in, and what you see over here, this is a stiff peak. Now I would like to whisk it a little while longer.
It's raw egg white.
Yeah, but it's cooked because the sugar is here. It's hot. I would like to whisk it a while longer so that the bowl is a bit cooler. I have this idea that when you whisk it a bit longer, you have nicer macaroon. And so I hope that you're enjoying the macaroon making process so far. I'm going to have a beer because it's very hot. To me, my humble spectator over here. So look at the bowl now. Is you can see actually it's very stiff. All the meringue mixture, the bowl is quite cool now, cooler than before. And what you can do is actually to just remove this part of the. Oh, look at that! You see, this is what you're looking for. When you actually tilt it over, it won't drop off. Nice. Stiff peaks. So what I like to do is I like to combine a bit of this meringue into the mixture first before I combine the rest, just to soften it up a bit. Alright, so maybe I can take the ones off the bit, the drill bit, not drill bit, the whisking, this paddle. Okay, so I just mix this first. Okay, I mix this into the mixture first just to lighten it up a bit. Actually, meringue tastes quite nice if you have a sweet tooth. So you see the mixture starts getting lighter and lighter. You can go in circles. Just make sure that you have, this is the part where it needs some energy. You need to really can continue smearing a bit just to combine, lighten out the mixture. You realize that actually the macaron batter is quite thick and quite hard to move about, but as you incorporate some meringue, it starts to get lighter and lighter like this. It gets a very nice light brown. Okay, so you see you incorporate and lightens up the whole thing. And what you need to do now is continue to mix. Okay, and when you feel that you're comfortable enough with this and it's light enough to combine the rest, you bring over the other bowl. Let me get some meringue off my finger. All the meringue is off the paddle. Yep, so you continue to incorporate the rest of the meringue inside. Okay, that's it. Continue to mix. Some people like to fold. Now you fold, you get very nice feet, of course. You get higher feet because you're not knocking the air out. So, but even if you mix everything, to me, that's okay. So it depends on the individual preference. You'll be very gentle with it because macarons are like humans, they are very temperamental. So maybe I mix some more. Okay, that'll be enough. You gotta make sure that you dig the bottom because the bottom has like a lot of batter like these, so it's not very evenly mixed. So make sure you really combine everything very well. So you may want to even do something like this just to make sure that everything be mixed and well combined. So yeah, I see some stuff still not well mixed yet. Continue to stir. Try to go in one direction and you won't knock out as so much air. But actually the rate I'm stirring just now, I knock out a lot of air. That doesn't matter because my macarons will still rise. Okay, so you see this color, yeah, this will be your basic macaron batter. And when you're confident that you have mixed it well enough, don't worry even if you mix it a while longer, because sometimes when I pipe it out I get like macaron batter, sometimes I get meringue, it's not very nice. So make sure it's smooth, and when you actually let it like that, it actually can fall off quite nicely, and gravity is like pulling all of it down. So yeah, when you combine this whole thing well enough, you get something like this. This is your macaron batter. Okay, so for this step, this is gonna be the piping stage of the macaroons before you leave it out to rest. You're gonna like have this multi-baked paper, and you're gonna like make the size of your tray, and this will determine how many you can pipe. Don't make too big also, because you want it to be like flat. Alright? I'll do one more scoop. Okay. So how much you pipe is just up to you. How much you pipe will determine how big your macaron will be. So I just write now, huh? I don't want to make them too big because I want them to be like bite-sized people, and it's really sweet, so yeah, bite-sized pieces. And I pack them in a alternate manner, leaving like a 1-inch gap so that they won't get stuck together. And you see when I lift off, I actually draw a circle with my hand. Okay, so we are done with our first batch. We carry on to make the other batches. So after this, it's not a video stop halfway. I forgot to emphasize one very important step. That's the piak piak piak. So I'll show you what is the piak 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 later. You don't have to worry if your macarons look out of shape, because later on when you flatten it all out, they'll become quite even. Okay. So this is the piak 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 step. You gotta take note. After every batch that you do, you need to pump out the air. So this is what I do. At the bottom of the pan. This helps to even out all the macarons, and you can see it starts to become quite uniform in shape. Later during the drying process also, they will start to become even in shape. If you don't like these pointy tips and all, what you can do is dip your hand in cold water or normal water, and you can press them and make them even, but to me it's okay, because at the end of the day, they'll still be good. When you continue to hammer, you don't have to do that as they flatten out. And there you go, you get a very nice even layer. The rest you can see they're quite even as well after you leave them out to rest. So we'll carry on with the remaining batches until you complete everything. So as you can see, everything is piped out now, and the batter that we did just now can make around 140 macaroons, depending on how big or how small you pipe them. So what I just piped out is I used like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sheets, and it's around 140 macaroons. So now we're gonna leave it out to dry, so it will form a skin on top, and when you touch it later, the batter shouldn't stick to your fingers, because there's a skin that forms on the surface before putting it into the oven. Alright? Okay, now we're gonna make the chocolate ganache. So what I have here is 340 grams of chocolate. Why do I use 340 grams? Because I explained that ganache is half part cream, half part chocolate. So over here, my Nestle cream, I can get it at $2.30 or less if there's on offer or something at any of the supermarkets. I'm using 170, so you have 340, and 340 over here. So what you do is you put your chocolate on the bain marie again, or the double boiler. Okay, make sure everything is in. Okay, then you on the double boiler. Okay, so you wait for that to melt. Fire no need to be too hot. So your other pot here, I'm gonna put my cream. Because later I'm gonna combine the chocolate into the cream, so everything's gonna be incorporated together. Alright, I'm gonna open my cream, put everything in. Yeah, it can be a bit lumpy, and the liquid is like there's water and all, but don't worry, you don't throw the liquid as well. You need to incorporate everything. If not, the ganache will be too thick. Okay, so just it's like tau hui like that. You can see, yeah. Forgive me if I'm breaking a lot of cooking rules. I don't really give a damn, but I find that it works. Now use a whisk, but don't whisk the cream. Just incorporate the liquid and the cream so that it continues to create a firm consistency. What you can do to help is to put it over the heat. Cream. Yeah. Don't whisk it too much. But yeah, with some fruit, it will start to form into like a very thick. Yeah, it'll become like cream. So after that, you just wait for your. But you don't want to boil your cream as well. So you just want to heat it up so that it's hot enough to like melt the chocolate. Okay, I'm not going to use my whisk anymore. I don't want to incorporate too much air into the cream. So what I'm going to use is that's my spatula. So what am I going to use? I'm going to use my spatula. Okay, I just want to heat up the cream. I don't want to boil it. I don't want the fat to. I want the fat to remain intact. Okay. As for my chocolate here, I want it to melt completely, so that when the chocolate goes in the cream, I don't want lumps of chocolate as well. So what can I do is ouch, steam. What I can do is I can actually, incorporate some of the chocolate here, those very lumpy ones, into the cream already. So I continue to stir. Your final objective is to actually combine these two things, the cream and the chocolate. So why you do the chocolate like that is to actually help it to melt as well. Because cold chocolate into cream, yeah, I don't want to have a disaster also. But in the event that everything goes wrong, you can put everything back onto the double boiler and mix again. Okay, I believe the chocolate is fully melted now, so I can actually incorporate the two. Just be careful because it's really hot, it's boiling. There's very hot steam. So remove the cream from the heat already. Okay, now the chocolate goes into the cream. And in essence, this is your chocolate ganache, or macaron filling for chocolate macarons. Simple. You don't have to do much. It's just 2 ingredients, incorporate them together, but do it the right way. Okay? Okay, so a trick I learned from my friend Olivia, who trained at Le Cordon Bleu, is you mix the center very fast, and then you carry on mixing to the rest of the mixture. We mix the center very, very fast and carry on incorporating. So, so to make the ganache is to actually combine everything so you don't see any white and dark. Well, you only see one consistency. So the trick is to actually just mix it all well together. You can see lumps of cream here and there, it doesn't matter, just mix it. Maybe I heated the cream a bit too much, but it's nothing to worry about. You still get a very nice filling. Okay, so just carry on to mix your chocolate ganache. And trust me, this is very yummy. Okay, and you see you have it's nice smooth consistency of chocolate. What you need to do now is to actually put the entire thing into the fridge, but you can leave it out to cool first before you put it into the fridge. If not, you'll affect the fridge temperature. And when you after you put it into the fridge, you take it out every 5 to 10 minutes to just give it a stir and make sure that it doesn't become like a whole big block of chocolate, because you just want something that is pipeable, something close to your macaroon batter just now. You don't want it to be so smooth as well. If not, you see, if it's too smooth, you'll overflow onto the meringue, onto the macaroon cookie after it comes out of the oven. Alright. My oven, I switched it on to 140. Every oven is different, so you really got to experiment with the temperature. But I realized in Singapore, 140 is a good temperature. We cannot follow the Angmo recipe because they are a cold country. They have to, yeah, theirs is just different. And I'm using the fan because I want an even distribution of the heat. So I set my oven to the fan mode and 140. Okay, and now I'm just heating up the oven for the first batch to go in. Okay, so it's more than half an hour now, and you can see that the uh, macaroons have like dried up. You see, it doesn't stick to my hand, and it's like there's a skin form at the surface. So now I'm getting them into the oven, temperature 140 degrees. For me, I bake my macaroons for 5 minutes with the door closed, and when I see the feet and when they start to rise, after 5 minutes, the next 5 minutes, I leave the oven door ajar. Alright, so we're gonna put them in the oven now. Okay, now we're gonna put into the oven the macaroons. Yeah, I put it in the bottom second lowest rack. Alright. They are going in. You can see. Okay, the fan is on and it's 140. Okay, I set the timer 10 minutes. So after the first 5 minutes, we should be able to see some rising taking place. Yeah, as I was mentioning just now regarding the chocolate ganache, you need to take them out of the fridge every 5 or 10 minutes or so. Just give them a stir so that they won't become hard or lumpy, but or have a smooth consistency. So you can see this is my chocolate ganache. It's still very liquidy, but it's starting to actually harden a little bit. You can see some lumps forming here and there, but we just want to even out those lumps. We don't want like lumps and liquid like stuff. We just want a very smooth, even ganache. So I'm gonna put that back in the fridge. And then we continue monitoring our macaroons. Looking good. Hopefully they will rise soon. Oh, I'm starting to see some feet. And yep, they are rising. You can see some of the feet forming. And yes, we have a successful batch of macaroons. And this is the satisfaction you get when you bake macaroons. You see the feet forming. They are beautiful. It's not even 5 minutes yet. It's like just past 3 minutes. Okay, it's about 5 minutes now. We're gonna open the oven door, slightly ajar, just like that. And our macarons are looking good. Oh, they are looking very good actually. And after another 5 minutes, we can take them out of the oven. Alright, I just took my macaroons out of the oven, and as you can see, the first batch is looking nice with very nice feet as well. I hope you can see it, the feet. Anyway, later you can see the final product of everything. I'm gonna just put them onto the table to cool. Okay, so the French people claim to be very romantic, so even their macaroons need to get married. So this step, after they come out of the oven, you need to get them married. You need to find the same size so that when they stick them together, they don't have like one bigger than the other. So you have 2 macaroons, get them off the baking paper. Sometimes you have like bits of macaroon batter stuck on the baking parchment, but it's not an issue. See, like that, it will be nice. Let me just show you. So just be a matchmaker. And so look what we have here. My humble assistant, Miss Joanna the Beautiful, is over there. She's loosening up the chocolate ganache so that we can pipe it onto the macarons. And as you can see, this is our progress so far. We have 1 batch in the oven right now and 1 last batch here waiting to be baked. The ganache looks good. We just took it off the fridge. Okay, I filled my chocolate ganache into the piping bag. Now I'm going to pipe up the chocolate filling into the macaroons. You can actually pipe as much as you want if you're feeling generous. If not, you want to pipe a little bit, also can. I'm just moving it to the bottom of the bag so that I can pipe them out. You gotta make sure you keep stirring the ganache and make it loose and not too fluid like, as well as not too hard, so that you can pipe it out with ease. Okay, you see the first macaroon over here. Sometimes my piping bag bursts. Okay, I think that's about enough for one, right? Yeah, and how you actually do, no, you don't do like that. The good way would be to twist it around and you actually screw the filling in like that. So you have 1 macaroon. Sometimes if you want to, yeah, you can actually put a bit more. Yeah, something like that. Okay, and you see the filling in between. You just do this action, this screwing motion, and you get a nice chocolate macaroon. Once you finish your piping, you can screw them together, and I'll put them in these boxes that I've got at Phoon Huat as well. Each box can hold 6 macaroons, and 1 pack contains 10 boxes, so that's like 10 or 7? Yeah, 10. So it's $1.80 per set like that. So 18 cents per box. Yep. All the macaroons are in the fridge. 138 macaroons our batch. If you want to make a smaller batch, you can follow Lorraine Pascal's recipe. I will put the link on. If not, this is the batch by Pierre Dominic, my shifu online. I have another batch of macaroons here. Can you see? Yeah, 2 rolls. 138 macaroons. Thanks for watching my adventure.